Welcome back to the news, everyone. Today it is time to dive into a post-mortem of how money, false promises, Activision and corporate bullshit can ruin what should have been a beloved game and actually massively damage the reputation of a company and a beloved franchise. Because Blizzard really sucked at this one. They really sucked. So, this is an article by Bloomberg's Jason Schreier. It's talked to many sources from within Blizzard Entertainment's classic games team. Of course, that's now a defunct team. And those people have chosen to shed a lot of light on what actually went on with Reforged. It exposes PR speak that is, like much PR speak, lies. And I think a lot of things that we're all going to find very, very interesting indeed. Okay. It's quite fun. Jason, prefacing this by saying that this is reflecting Blizzard's significant cultural changes, mismanagement, financial pressures. I wonder where those financial pressures came from. So, let's get into things. Basically, what's the deal here? Well, Blizzard's only interested in big billion-dollar hits. That's essentially it. Jab, when Reforged was announced, said that, it was a monumentally important game. Right, that's what Warcraft III was to Blizzard. Yet Blizzard really didn't give a shit. But the project was never a priority for the company, in part because a remaster of an old strategy game had little chance of becoming the type of billion-dollar product that Activision wanted, according to people who asked not to be named because they weren't authorized to speak. With Blizzard pressured to focus on its biggest franchises, Warcraft III Reforged could not get the ambitious budget that its leaders wanted. And I think that just shows you, whenever Blizzard is existing under the yoke of Activision Blizzard, the parent company, you're not going to get nice things, because the focus has changed. It's no longer about making great games for Blizzard Entertainment. It is about appeasing the stockholders, the shareholders, of Activision Blizzard. Because if you wanted a happy bunch of Blizzard developers and a bunch of happy customers, you would do a good remaster of your game. Microsoft, when it came to Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition, they actually almost certainly knew. It's an RTS. It's not going to be big business. But they knew it was important to have a diverse set of IP, lots of games, and to do right by their fans. So they put effort into it. There have been other examples as well. It just shows where other game companies succeeded, Blizzard fucked up, and today we're going to learn how. So Jason goes to recap issues with the game. And it's quite funny, that thing where, Reforged has issues, has a lack of features that the base game had in 2002. And Blizzard did promise things, but it's 18 months later. Have those things materialized? No. No, they have not. And really, I think this quote from Wes Fenton encapsulates a lot. 5 years ago, I think Blizzard was one of the few big game companies that could still cast itself as being your friend, but I think that innocent trust is gone now. I think Wes may have given that statement before the recent Blizzard news, but just goes to show. It's a corporation, not your friend. And even if all the people at Blizzard mean the absolute best, this story, what's been uncovered here, proves that because of the demands of Activision Blizzard, Blizzard cannot be the Blizzard that we all want it to be. I think it's just as simple as that. So, as we go into this, there is documentation produced after the release of the game, as well as interviews with 11 people who have worked on or are close to the game. And according to Jason, that indicates that Reforged was actually re-scoped during development due to budget cuts and internal arguments over the game's direction. Right? The central issue with Warcraft III Reforged was an early, unclear vision and misalignment about whether the game was a remaster or a remake. This apparently led to numerous different challenges. Developers tried to pitch in, but ultimately, bug fixing and other dev tasks towards the end, they couldn't correct the more fundamental issues, which was that this project was absolutely goddamn screwed. The spokesman added that as a result of the negative reactions to War 3 Reforged, the upcoming Diablo 2 remake is going to be a pure remaster faithful to the art, gameplay, and cinematics of the original game. So that's interesting. Not only is Diablo 2 Resurrected Edition not a Blizzard product. I mean, it technically is, but it's developed by Vicarious Visions, who are a different company, who are now merged into Blizzard. But not only are Blizzard not the ones making that damn thing, we maybe can assume there that they de-scoped that to be as safe as is possible. In fairness to them, with Diablo, that does seem to actually be working. So to probably get into things then, small teams like Classic Games, which worked on remakes including Reforged, were all but ignored in favor of potential billion-dollar games like Diablo 4 and Overwatch 2. Blizzard even cancelled some of its other projects in favor of proven hits. Now, what that's really referring to is that there was I heard on the grapevine that this project was fucking awesome. There was a StarCraft universe game that was basically like Battlefield at Blizzard. That was axed, and I believe it was axed because it took development resources away from the Overwatch IP, and of course we all know that Overwatch is woefully behind schedule. Then of course, 8 months after the release of Warcraft III Reforged, the classic team was dismantled. Blizzard chose to plow ahead with a premature release of Warcraft III Reforged, largely because it had already taken pre-orders from players, according to people who are familiar with this decision. The company could not bump the game too much more without potentially being forced to send out refunds and risking that people wouldn't buy it again. So that's the key thing here. And I'm fairly sure as well that they basically had an empty feeling BlizzCon, and their reaction was basically, oh shit, what do we do? Okay, Warcraft 3 Reforged. And unbeknownst to the developers of that game, they announced it with a release target and everything. They did that purely to save face and get some pre-order money because they're fucking scumbags. That's how this works. Because they ask for that pre-order, they don't have a clear vision for that game, that means they don't give a shit about you and they think you're just a goddamn pathetic pay pig who's going to cough up. Because hey, Battle for Azeroth just came out, Sylvanas just burnt down the big goddamn tree, and oh, you'll get the Forsaken Meat Wagon if in World of Warcraft if you buy Warcraft 3 Reforged. Because this scumbag fucking company, when it comes to the big business decisions, sees you as a pay pig, an easy cash grab. That's why they didn't treat people with any modicum of respect regarding this game. Of course, not least their own developers, as we're soon going to find out. In notes from an internal postmortem of the game reviewed by Bloomberg, developers on Warcraft 3 Reforged acknowledged this issue. We took pre-orders when we knew the game wasn't ready yet, they said, adding later that the company needed to, quote, resist the urge to ship an unfinished product because of financial pressure. The Blizzard spokesman said, in hindsight, we should have taken more time to get it right, even if it meant returning pre-orders. No shit. Is this a damning thing in Blizzard? Or is this something that shows that Activision Blizzard, who are really the people in charge, are the cause for a lot of this form of modern era Blizzard bullshit? Let's get into what War 3 Reforged was supposed to be. In the beginning, the Classics team had ambitious plans. Through 17 and 18, devs revamped the game script and re-recorded all dialogue. Yeah, according to this, all the dialogue was re-recorded already. The goal was to rewrite scenes and to flesh out characters to align them with the lore of World of Warcraft. Now, some people are like, oh, come on, don't retcon it. But, you can see how, that all could be quite cool. Could be quite a big, good experience. High budget, high effort, great results. Maybe it could have even been so good that, oh, wow, could a Warcraft 4 make sense? But obviously not, because it was half-assed. David Freed, a designer on the original Warcraft 3, who was briefly brought back to work in Reforged, said in an email, quote, there were things in the works for Warcraft 3 Reforged that would have absolutely revitalized a classic game. So there you go, there really was plans. But behind the scenes, things weren't going well. Members of the team began worrying they'd promised more than they could deliver. Remastering Warcraft 3 was more complicated than the StarCraft remake because of three-dimensional models and, I believe, just generally more scope. This was a small team, production was disorganized, they had a massive amount of work to do. They didn't have the resources, they didn't have the time. It had taken months to revamp one of Warcraft 3's levels, now they would have to do the same for dozens more. And there's a thing here that's really important. Those pre-orders that they took, those were taken based on a pitch for this game that was that original 2017-2018 vision that involved more contemporary lore, a lot more work being done to the levels. A real big, epic remake. That is what they tried. That's what they got pre-orders from. And here's the crazy thing. They got people's pre-order money from that, and then they shipped a different product. They changed their mind in the middle, and then they lied about why they changed their mind. If you bought this, you're a pay pig. You're a pay pig. I mean, you're not. You're probably a good person. But that's how they viewed you, because they didn't even have the decency to treat you well. You know, in fact, they basically lied to get your money, and the risk of you refunding a pre-order, the risk of that is what caused them to lie. I mean, goddamn, how can you have any faith in these companies when they treat their customers with such blatant contempt? So moving on, morale plummeted in the project. Rob Breidenbacher, head of the Classic Games team, was known for an aggressive managerial style, for taking frequent trips out of the company during production, and a tendency to give unrealistic deadlines. Miscommunication became a serious issue across the team, as did arguments over scope and art style, according to people familiar with the matter. Art style's a funny one, because you look at War 3 Reforged, looks like goddamn Raid Shadow Legends. It absolutely looks like an outsourced piece of shit, and it is not the fault of the outsourcing studio Lemon Sky. They were working to the spec given to them by Blizzard, and the people at Blizzard who gave that spec were obviously thrown into a terrible situation where they didn't have the time, they didn't have the money, they didn't have the resources, they were treated like shit, so it's absolutely no surprise that it ended up the way that it did, and of course, you, the customer, lost. Us, the Blizzard fans, lost. So here's a little more. We have developers who have dealt with exhaustion, anxiety, depression, and more for a year now, the developers later said in a postmortem. Many have lost trust in the team and this company. Many players have also lost trust, and the launch certainly didn't help an already rough year for Blizzard's image. Well, hey, I think that was followed up by a continually rough year, wasn't it? The team, which had a reputation of taking on outcasts from other Blizzard departments, was restricted in hiring due to limited budget. Some people had to do multiple jobs at once, working many nights and weekends to try to finish the game. Tech obstacles and conflicts among the team only exacerbated problems. A mass layoff of nearly 800 people in February 2019 hollowed out Blizzard support departments, which also hurt the team. We were missing and/or had the wrong people in certain lead roles, the postmortem said. The team structure didn't set the project up for success. How can you be any form of decision maker in Blizzard and allow this kind of thing to happen, knowing full well, as the likes of J. Allen Brack will have known, what Warcraft 3 means to the legacy of this company, what the Warcraft IP means to the fans, and also what the Warcraft IP means to Activision Blizzard as it's over, as a business line. It's number 2 to Call of Duty. It's big. And their short-term financial short-sightedness leads to them even managing to fuck up that. Because my God, how do you get such incompetent fucking buffoons in business? It's insane. Is this just a pack of goddamn MBAs who make their way in, don't know what a fucking video game is, and don't give a shit? Forcing these developers to ruin their lives, crunch, fucking ruin their families, ruin all this shit, just to have a piece of shit that's a black mark on their portfolio be the thing that comes out. I mean, can you imagine being the sort of buffoon who oversees something like this happening? Absolutely no goddamn mercy should be given from the customers over shit shows like this that show that these companies basically hate you and think you're a resource only. Warcraft III Reforged began gradually losing features. Management threw out the revised scripts and the re-recordings the team had done, according to people familiar with the process, choosing instead to stick to the original dialogue and voice acting. Freed, who departed the project as it was rescoped, pinned the blame for these shifts on Blizzard's corporate parent. I am deeply disappointed that Activision would actively work against the interests of all players in the manner they did, he said. He added it was quite telling that Morhaime had resigned just weeks before Warcraft III Reforged was presented in November 2018 at BlizzCon. Yeah, and this whole Activision thing, from what I understand, the recent issues that have appeared with Blizzard are actually quite old school Blizzard issues. I will say, I remember talking to a surprisingly high up ex-Blizzard employee after the 800 people. After that happened, I was, had a long talk with this individual. It was maybe 3 or 4 hours, actually happened at this very table, in this very room. And that individual said, basically, see all that Activision stuff? All your fears are correct. All those bad incentives are correct. All that worry about what the financial departments are doing to Blizzard, all correct. I can't say any more because I don't want to out this individual. But like, this wasn't an anon email. I was talking to the guy. Shit is actually true and happening. And it's strangling Blizzard's ability to actually do anything decent. The developers of the game blamed Breidenbecker and other executives, right? This Breidenbecker guy doesn't seem particularly great, and he also declined to comment for this story with Jason. Leadership seemed totally out of touch with the velocity and scope of the project until extremely late in development, the team said in a postmortem. Senior voices in the department warned leadership about the impending disaster of Warcraft on several occasions over the last year or so, but were ignored. And you know, that's the thing. Blizzard has an institutional focus on like how long people have been there, on tenure, right? And I've heard multiple things, even on other Blizzard teams, of people who absolutely know the problems that people are facing, and the leadership basically brushing them off, saying, it's fine, the players always come back. The feedback loop, when you are a fanboy of a company, that's the thing, when a company is fanboyed, and, you know, people lick the footprints they leave in the dust, it breaks the feedback loop that forces the devs to be good. That's the thing. And you're seeing that happen with these executives who don't get it. And then these team members who are trying to flag up these problems to their leaders. And they're just like, it's fine. Players love Warcraft. They'll come back. It's fine. Obviously isn't. By the end of 2019, the Classic Games team had brought in help from all across Blizzard to finish it. But of course, it would not be enough. When Blizzard usually releases a game, there's some sort of celebration, a launch party, whatever. For Reforged, there was no champagne, just wincing anticipation of how angry players would be. Players were angry, and they were absolutely right to be. And, you know, there's not really much else to go into here, just that, you know, progress on actually making Warcraft III Reforged not be a piece of shit has been very slow. You know? And that's the thing. I mean, hey, you want ladder and things? You need to do Warcraft 3 Champions. Fan-made. Quote, "We have a level of freedom Blizzard could never have," says John Graves, a member of the Warcraft 3 Champions team, who made the project his full-time job for the last year. So there you go. This is a great story. I mean, in my head, it's like how a bunch of MBAs at Activision come in, like counting some beans, don't know what a fucking video game is, and ruin the shit that we want. But also you can see how institutional problems within Blizzard Entertainment, not listening to the frontline staff, issues like that, just result in a company sleepwalking into a goddamn disaster. We need to absolutely hammer them on shit like this when it happens. And you know what? Good work to Jason and Bloomberg for getting this postmortem, doing all these interviews, and surfacing this shit, because this is shit that we as customers of games should be fucking pissed at. We should let them know we're pissed. We should not accept shit like this again. Hello, Matt. How are you?
Money now. Money now, please. Money later? No, money now. That's their entire, like, that's how they work. That's how they very clearly work. Like, the examples in the industry of it being not this way are, you know, there's Sony who are putting a lot of focus in big games, but actually make them good.
Yeah.
There's Microsoft who, especially in, like, looking at what they did with AoE 2, they're like, okay, well, what about loads of games and loads of value for the customer? Okay, sweet. EA are even moving into this where they're going, all right, well, we definitely need to diversify our portfolio a little bit here. And then you look at Activision, they're just like, nah. We have tried very hard to fuck this up, and we have failed every time. They just keep bringing us money. They just keep giving us their money. How do we screw this up any harder?
It's easy. Streamline into billion-dollar franchises and fucking mobile games. Easy. That's how you do it. So they fucking do it. Assholes.
It is like the rage is palpable. It's not like it's anything we didn't even know anyway. It's just seeing what
the details.
It's seeing what you suspected and seeing what you felt written down on paper from actual sources. I've been like, yeah, especially, fuck man, all the dialogue being recorded. All the dialogue being recorded, the script being rewritten, and then they throw it out? What the fuck do you mean? Like, it's the bit where they were wincing in anticipation of the players responding. What do you mean? Just press the no. Just abort the mission. Like, if you're watching a rocket shoot into space, they're like, something's terribly wrong with this rocket. Fuck it, fire up anyway, see what happens. That's what they're doing here.
But Matt, you see, you have to understand, what happens if a pre-order customer refunds the pre-order? Then we'll have to take away their pre-order bonus mount in World of Warcraft.
Fuck.
Oh no! It's so fucking transparent. They made more money on pre-orders for a goddamn World of Warcraft tie-in mount than they did the quality of this game.
Yeah, it's really, like, when you try to break it down to the reasons decisions were made, and remember who's actually making the decisions and who's trying to make the game, you almost see all of these developers under this layer of fucking slime that are the executives making decisions like this, where you could, like, the idea of the team members going, this isn't going to work, then just going, shut up, what do you know, you're only a developer. We make the decisions right here, we know what's going on. Sell that to these fucking idiot customers who will buy whatever the hell we shovel at them because they've been eating shit for years and are now happy with it. Brutal, like.
This is the danger of BlizzCon.
Yeah.
This is the danger of, and it's the thing, it's been a long time since I've been a fan of Blizzard. Long time. Because, yeah, I heard rumblings of what it's really like to work there years ago, and I was like, well, shit, I never want to work there. But, you know, so many people are like that to Blizzard. A lot of those people, I mean, feeling quite betrayed now, you know, over extremely important reasons. This is also an important reason. It's, I would say, probably a less important reason than the most recent things, because that's awful shit. But, like, yeah. This is what happens when people are fanboys of a company, or total fanboys of an IP. You can be exploited. And make no mistake, while the rank and file developers did not try to exploit you, did not want to exploit you, didn't want to do any of that, and were trying their best, Blizzard did. Blizzard tried to exploit you on this. And it's stuff like this why, you know, I treat Blizzard like a company. You don't treat them like anything else. They're a company. They're not even a company. They're a business unit of Activision Blizzard. And that basically makes it worse, because at least if they were an autonomous company, you know, they maybe be able to not do things like this, because they wouldn't have, you know, Bobby's bean counters lashing the whip. But what do we see? What are the results that it makes? I mean, imagine being a developer in this project. Imagine spending, you know, 2-3 years, whatever, of your life trying to make this thing, and probably being there because you loved Warcraft 3. Warcraft 3 was probably the goddamn reason you're working at Blizzard right now, if you're on this game's team. This is the sort of betrayal they'll show to their own staff and their own customers. I think the thing here is solidarity between players and developers, and absolute unvarnished fury at the NBA wielding business bastards who made this thing happen. That's what it has to be. We need to stop accepting plates of shit. In fairness, that might be happening. You know, people see the Marvel Avengers game. They're like, oh, what? Did you, like, actually make the bones of a great game and then completely ruin it with a bunch of other bullshit? Or like Anthem, or, you know, I actually do think that gamers are beginning to be like, wait, no, we're actually not accepting this shit anymore. You know, Star Wars Battlefront 2. I think it's just a lot of people didn't think they'd have to say that about Blizzard, but they do, and they should.
Yeah, Blizzard is the hardest one to break, but I think with the other story we've recently covered, I think it is broken. The trust is destroyed.
Yeah.
And I mean, honestly, all I think you need to do is read one particular quote from this article again, which is, the Blizzard spokesman said that, in hindsight, we should have taken more time to get it right, even if it meant returning pre-orders. In fucking hindsight, is there no one employed at that company, at that multi-billion-dollar company, to have some fucking foresight instead of hindsight? Is it not the case of, boys, should we maybe think about this in more the term of, you know, next quarter or the quarter after, and not literally this quarter's money?
The assholes who make these decisions don't make games, they don't play games. They just view games as a way to deliver shareholder value.
Oh, so
What you need to know.
yeah, so they're taking investor money, burning through goodwill of players, enjoyment of players, and all of the health and well-being of the developers to turn it into more money? Is that it? Is health and well-being of developers and the hard-earned money that you, the player, work in whatever industry you work in, is that the catalyst to turn money into more money and they're just burning through it like crazy?
Yeah.
Is that literally the truth of it?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Love video games.
And I think on that, love video games. I think we need a bit of solidarity with the actual developers of video games. And honestly, these dickheads who don't make video games but basically make money and a living by basically fucking ruining them and hoodwinking people for more money. Yeah, fuck them. That's it. That's the video. Have a great day. Sometimes, you know what? Righteousness is extremely dangerous. Righteousness and pride, they're some of the most insidious, dangerous things. But goddamn, when you see shit like this, sometimes it is okay for a bit of righteous fury. And on that, see you next time.